Good evening. Welcome to Anne Arundel County Public Schools 2018 Tuesday Summer Series. Under the leadership of Dr. Arlotto, in an effort to address and provide information on topics of concern to residents across the county, Anne Arundel County Public Schools has been hosting 6 summer series sessions, tonight being the 4th. For programming purposes, our session will end no later than 7 o'clock. Please be advised that this session is being recorded and will be posted on the website for public reference. Note cards have been provided for you to write down questions pertaining to this evening's topic. Please complete the front so that our team may follow up as appropriate. Questions will be reviewed by our moderator, Dr. McMahon, and read in the order in which they are received. Only questions on the note cards will be acknowledged. 1 question per card, please. Personnel and private issues can be discussed with our staff at the conclusion of the meeting, and we will have a few minutes after the programming for discussion of private or personnel issues. This evening's session topic is seen in front of you, Programs of Choice in Anne Arundel County Public Schools. With us this evening is Ms. Mary Talar, Assistant Superintendent for Advanced Studies and Programs, Ms. Alexis Poganowski, AVID Specialist, Ms. Mary Austin, Coordinator for the International Baccalaureate Program, Mr. Rich Berger, Signature Specialist, and Mr. Pat Crane, Senior Manager of Alternative Programs, as well as Ms. Deb Kramer, Coordinator for Career and Technology. At this point, I will turn it over to Ms. Mary Talar. Thank you.
I'm going to say good evening and welcome. I'm looking at all of you and I'm so grateful that you're here this evening. As stated, my name is Mary Talar and it is truly my honor to be the Assistant Superintendent for Advanced Studies and Programs. Anne Arundel County's Program of Choice options, whether offered in the Division of Advanced Studies and Programs, ASP as we refer to it, or alternative education, provides students with specialized curricular, instructional, and co-curricular activities that meet their specific intellectual interests and needs. Each program is designed to give students choice in their education. They also provide increased opportunities for students to engage in project-based learning to solve real-world problems. All options are rooted in the development and delivery of powerful teaching that promotes engaged learning. Having our students' voice is important, as is the collaboration that can be provided to our students through interaction that is immersive. We believe in rigorous instruction, authentic application, and community connections. All options prepare our students, your students, to be expert and accountable learners in their educational journey. As noted on the slide, we are dedicated to preparing our students to communicate precisely, work cooperatively, think creatively, and initiate action as a steward in a global society. Tonight, you will specifically hear from our Magnet office, where instructional pathways guide secondary experiences with endorsements. Our AVID and Signature offices, whose electives spark passion while preparing students to be college and career ready. And our Charter Contract Office School, whose designed programs, although governed in law, truly do promote innovation. So without further ado, let me introduce Alexis Poganowski, our specialist for AVID.
Hi, so AVID is a program and it stands for Advancement via Individual Determination, and is in every single one of our secondary schools. The AVID elective is a piece of the program where students can apply to, and that serves students in the academic middle. All students benefit from AVID strategies as they are embedded in curriculum in various content areas, and they also are in all of our school improvement plans as supports. The mission of AVID is to better prepare students for college and career readiness for all students. And one example of how we do that is through the AVID elective. Students can participate in a process called the tutorial process. And that's where students are able to bring in questions and really through peer collaboration come to an answer. And take ownership of their own learning. There's also a system called collaborative study groups, which is an example of a system that would create which would help all students help take ownership of their own learning. And we're seeing that being piloted in our Glen Burnie cluster, which is having great results. And our Glen Burnie cluster is recognized by Avid Center because it's a vertically aligned system from elementary all the way up to high school. So as I mentioned before, we do have Avid in all of our secondary schools and is also in 12 of our elementary schools, most of those being centered in the Glen Burnie cluster. Our area also has a national demonstration site, which is Corcoran Middle School, and Point Pleasant Elementary School is going to be a showcase site next year for other counties to come and visit and see how Avid really works at the elementary level. And college and career preparation is very evident in Avid, as we are all extremely proud to report that our 528 Avid seniors earned over $43 million in scholarship and grant money, and that will help them to attend their four-year college or university in the fall. And 80% of our Avid elective students were accepted into a four-year college or university. So it is a program that everyone that works with it, we're incredibly passionate about, and we can see in the data that it's working for students and helping them achieve their college and career readiness goals as well. Now introduce you to Mary Austin, coordinator of IB, who is going to talk to us about magnets.
Thanks, Elise. Good evening again. Anne Arundel County Public Schools offers a variety of magnet programs for our students and families. Students who are entering at the middle school or high school level can choose from the International Baccalaureate or IB program, and IB is really designed for students who have a love of learning, enjoy thinking outside the box, and solving problems, real-world problems, in a global context. They can also choose from our Performing and Visual Arts, or PVA magnet program, and this really is designed for students who are interested in fostering their maximum potential, both artistically and academically. Our middle and high school students can look at the STEM, Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math program, for students who are interested in exploring STEM subjects as they work in everyday life. Students entering our high school programs beginning in 9th grade additionally have the option of our BEMA, or Biomedical Allied Health program, and that's really for students interested in exploring real-world opportunities across the spectrum of healthcare professions. And our students can choose to explore a variety of options at our Centers for Applied Technology, North and South. Magnet programs in our school system are inclusive programs of choice. We cast a very wide net as we seek to find students, attract students based on their talents, passions, and interests. In our county, magnet schools and programs are used as a lever for change and innovation. We offer ongoing opportunities for our students and staff to explore and share ideas that are important in their local and global communities. In magnet programs, we increase the rigor for students, not through the additional amount of work, but rather through the depth of the work and through ongoing opportunities for students, through empowering students to think critically about their world and to take action when the need arises. Most importantly, our magnet programs value the education of the whole child. We create an environment where all students can learn, grow, and feel valued. We use a design thinking approach to empower students to think critically about their world and to take action. Magnet students leave our programs well-equipped, college and career ready, often with generous scholarships, opportunities for specialized programs, and experiences abroad. And as you can see on this slide, our programs are offered at a variety of middle and high schools across the county. The IB program is offered at 3 middle school and 3 high school sites. STEM and BEMA program, again at 3 middle and 3 high school sites. Our Performing and Visual Arts program is a high school program with 2 middle school programs and a variety of studio spaces. And again, the Centers for Applied Technology in the north and south portions of the county. Joining us next is Rich Berger, the specialist for our signature programs.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
And good evening. A signature is a 21st century workforce relevant theme around which curricula, job shadowing, mentoring, co-curricular clubs, college courses, internships are crafted. Pardon me. Real-world connections prepare students for college and for the workforce. Signature themes are chosen by the community, not by the Board of Education. So business and community partners are brought into the program to inform the curriculum in signature and content classes. Students are exposed to the working of and the needs of local businesses, industry, government, nonprofits, gaining a career understanding, a deeper understanding of the skills they need for future careers within their community. Last year, more than 400 community partners came into our schools to guest lecture, to conduct mock interviews and job fairs, to train students in job and life skills, to offer their expertise and relevance to both classes and clubs and co-curricular activities. Signature classes took more than 100 trips out of school into the workplace so that students were exposed to the working world. After students take introductory classes in their signature theme area, they may take more career-specific courses, like the Geographic Information Program at the Homeland Security at Meade High School, or the Transportation and Logistics College Program at North County High. Our business partners work within the schools as well with content area teachers to infuse real-world job skills into content instruction and to provide real-world examples of the material that students will encounter in those content area classes, not just textbook learning. For example, if you're taking a statistical analysis course, why should you analyze population shifts in Alaska directly out of the textbook when you can use the same skills looking at the crab population decline in the Chesapeake Bay in environmental literacy at Broadneck High School? Consequently, signature answers the why in classroom learning, giving students the opportunity to learn material and connect that material to their lives. This is so important for learning and retention of material, to have that connection to one's life and one's future aspirations. Our next presenter will be Pat Crane, Senior Manager of Alternative Programs.
Thank you, Rich, for that introduction. Again, my name is Pat Crane, Senior Manager of Alternative Programs, and it's a pleasure to be here this evening with you all to talk a little bit about our charter and contract schools. And so, keeping with the theme, we heard about our magnet programs, and those are schools, those are choice programs within Anne Arundel County. Charter and contract schools also offer a choice for parents in our community. They offer innovative learning opportunities, and they've become wildly popular within our school district, as evidenced by pretty large waiting lists in each of our schools. Our next school year, 2018-19, will serve over 2,600 students in grades K to 12. Our charter and contract schools falls under the Division of Alternative Education. So in addition to 2 alternative schools, we also have 4 schools that fall under the charter and contract school methodology. That fits with our philosophy that there really isn't a one-size-fits-all approach to education, resulting in a portfolio of alternative educational options for all of our families in Anne Arundel County. The question I get the most, though, is what is a charter school or what is a contract school? And so there are similarities and differences, probably more similarities than differences. As you can see, the similarities are that they're both authorized by the Anne Arundel County Public Schools Board of Education. So they are the authorizing body that approves the application to open either a contract or charter school. And then the operator of the charter or contract school is held accountable to a charter or contract that they have with the Anne Arundel County Board of Education. They're both provided autonomies in which to operate. Some of the most popular autonomies that they have are how they spend their budget, how they staff their school, their facilities. If you've ever been to one of our charter or contract schools or driven by, you usually see that they're in very non-traditional type buildings. So they do have some flexibility around where they build their schools. They're both operated by outside nonprofit entities, and they're both publicly funded. So if your child does attend a charter or contract school, it is tuition free. It is a public school. It is solely funded by Anne Arundel County Public Schools. Some differences are charter schools are governed by state law. So there's a very specific law that governs how charter schools are to operate within the state of Maryland. And that can differ from the way they operate in DC or the way they operate in other states. Maryland has a very unique charter school law that puts the charter schools under the school district. They're open to all county students. So for example, if you were to attend Monarch Academy in Glen Burnie and you lived in South County, you could do that in a charter school. And we do provide transportation for your child to and from school. And usually charter schools are open based on specific themes or programs. So for example, we have an expeditionary learning school. We have a math, science, technology charter school. Now contract schools are a little bit different in that they're not governed by any state law. So contract schools are opened in partnership with Anne Arundel County Public Schools. Usually it's to fulfill a need within our county. So the two contract schools that we currently have in Anne Arundel County were designed to fulfill a need to alleviate overcrowding both in the Laurel and Annapolis area, and we'll talk a little bit more specifically about those two schools. And they're designed collaboratively with the county school system to fulfill a need programmatically and geographically. The enrollment process, another really popular question that I get from parents is, I found a school that I want my child to go to, how do I get them enrolled? And so the application process mirrors the magnet process in terms of the dates that the application opens. So our window this coming year will open October 15th and close on November 30th. Now it's not a first come, first serve. So whether you enroll or fill out an application on October 15th or you fill out an application on November 30th, those applications are going to have the same weight. And so once that window closes, then we'll take a look at the number of applicants we got versus the number of open seats. If there are more applicants than open seats, then by law we have to have a lottery for enrollment. That lottery is held in mid-January, and then in early February, parents will be notified whether their student was accepted through the lottery or placed on a wait list. So the first charter school I'll talk about is Monarch Academy in Glen Burnie. Monarch Academy is the first charter school that we opened here in Anne Arundel County. It's wildly popular. It serves students in grades K-8, and they have approximately 800 students on a wait list. So as you can see, when I say it's wildly popular, it has become one of the most highly coveted schools here in our county in terms of charter schools. And it blends two educational programs. It blends a trans ed model, which is through the Children's Guild, their operational model for how they operate schools, and an expeditionary learning model, also known as EL, which is very similar to project-based learning if you're familiar with that. Chesapeake Science Point, another charter school. A little bit differently, they serve students in middle and high school. So currently it's our only high school charter school option, and they're a math, science, and technology focused school. Again, also a pretty extensive wait list for Chesapeake Science Point. And then I alluded to contract schools earlier. Our first contract school that we opened was Monarch Global Academy in Laurel. And that school serves students who would attend Brockbridge, Maryland City, or Jessup Elementary School. So again, there is a catchment area for Monarch Global. Again, as a contract school, we worked with the operator of that school to create a catchment zone to alleviate overcrowding in those three elementary schools. And again, it's a Children's Guild school, it's a trans ed school, and it's an IB primary years program at the elementary level and project-based learning at the middle school level. And finally, Monarch Academy in Annapolis, our most recent school, just opened this past fall. It serves students in grades kindergarten through 5. And that is in the old Capitol Gazette building right off West Street, if you're familiar with where that is. And again, that's an International Baccalaureate primary years program as well. So with that, that concludes tonight's presentation. We are certainly on hand to entertain any questions that you have. Thank you so much.
Ms. Jackson will return. So I'm wondering, Ms. Jackson, if you'd like to offer the room how this will flow.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. McMahon. So again, welcome. We have cards, again, to remind you that one question per card, and please put your contact information on the cards, and please pass them to Dr. McMahon as she will review and sort and ask questions of the team that's here. And again, a reminder for anyone who joined us a little after we started that any question that pertains to your child personally or a personnel issue, we would be more than happy to answer, but we'll do that at the conclusion of the public viewing. So at this point, I'll turn it back over to Dr. McMahon. And again, as you have questions, please feel free to complete the cards and pass them over to Dr. McMahon. And we'll pass it to you to ask the questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit, a stakeholder has asked the question about AVID and how you actually go about getting enrolled in AVID, especially at the middle school level.
Sure, absolutely. So on our website, acps.org/avid, there's an apply now button. You can certainly print out an application from there, and then your best bet is going to be to contact your home school and find out your AVID coordinator at that school and get them the application that's filled out. And from there, there will be an interview process and different things, and each school has a little bit. We're not quite as streamlined as the magnets with our application process, as each school has a little bit of their own process for that. But that's where you would start, with filling out the application, which you can get either from your home school's AVID coordinator. Every secondary school has one, or get it from the website. And you could always contact my information, as well as the coordinator of AVID's information for .arita is also right there on the website. We could direct you to exactly who you need to talk to, but that is where you would start.
And then the follow-up question is, for the other folks on the panel, how can AVID fit within the other programs of choice?
So again, I'm Deb Kremer, Coordinator for Career and Technology Education, and I work to provide support and resources for our applied tech centers and CTE programs. And so we have a lot of students coming with a variety of interests, of course, and a variety of skills, and we really need to kind of prepare them and get them ready for industry certifications and to earn college credit in our programs. And AVID's been a wonderful partner in helping not only the students be better prepared, but really in helping our teachers to organize instruction in ways that meet different needs, and to be able to scaffold instruction and to have some great ideas about teaching strategies and reading strategies. And it's just been a very good support all the way around to ensure success for all students.
Thank you.
If I could chime in on that, obviously we want our children to be prepared for college and career readiness. Understanding strategies that they can own and actually take to their learning is critical. AVID allows that to happen. In addition to the elective course that's available in our secondary schools, we've also recognized that school-wide AVID in preparing our children through, I'm going to say, a pedagogical journey, but it really is understanding the strategies that they can organize their information, think of ways to master it with tips and tricks as they engage in discipline and content domains is critical, because we want them to leave us and be independent. And AVID allows that to happen. We purposely have infused AVID strategies across all of the ASP, or Advanced Studies and Program offices, because it should never be a silo. It should be the how to which we can actually facilitate the learning.
So within the magnet program specifically, students can opt to take an AVID course as one of their electives as part of their schedule during the day. And again, as Ms. Talar said, across the Advanced Studies and Programs offices, but in this case specifically with magnet programs, we work hard to be sure those AVID strategies, those approaches to teaching and learning strategies, are built into the instructional units that we offer to our students. Sometimes at the high school level in a magnet program, as students get towards the upper years, in particular 11th to 12th grade, it can pose a bit more of a challenge to have AVID in as a full-time elective. The option is there, but that's going to differ a little bit student by student, just based on the choices they make for their program, their electives.
I'll echo what everyone has set up here in relation to AVID and their programs, and it would fit really nicely within our charter and contract schools. We don't currently have any AVID programs within our charter and contract schools. I would love to adopt AVID strategies within our schools. I think it's a perfect fit for what we do programmatically. So again, as you've heard, there's really a natural fit for what we do as well.
Thank you. Next question. Many of our pupils across the district do receive learning difference assistance. So how do these students fit into programs of choice? How do they have the similar or different opportunities to apply and enroll in these programs?
Mind if I take that first? Sure. So charter and contract schools are public schools, and we do not ask at the time of application whether your child has an IEP, whether your child has learning differences. We can't ask any of those questions, so everybody is on equal footing when they apply. If your child has an IEP or has learning differences and they get accepted into a charter or contract school, we follow the same rules and laws as every other public school in terms of serving the needs of your student. That maybe if they have an IEP or they have a 504, we certainly have to follow that. And so there is no, I guess, we would modify curriculum obviously as needed within our schools to serve those students. So we certainly welcome all students in our charter and contract schools, and we would educate them just like we would any other school.
So, Pat, if you don't mind, I'll piggyback from yours. We also, through the magnet programs, believe strongly in equitable access, and we do not look at a child's learning profile in terms of requiring an IEP or a 504 plan until after the application and, if necessary, lottery process. Our goal at that point then is to work with the Division of Special Education to ensure that the appropriate accommodations can be put into place and that the services are held appropriately.
Our signature classes are open for enrollment to any child in any high school. Obviously, modifications are made as necessary. Even if a child is not in a signature-specific class, many of our field trips, many of our extracurricular activities, many of the opportunities to go out to workplaces are open to the whole school. Many of our guest speakers are open to the whole school. So these children can participate in a variety of ways through the signature as well.
And for AVID, while the AVID elective does serve the student in the academic middle, one of the reasons why each school has a little bit of a different timeline for recruitment and acceptance is because we truly do, every AVID site coordinator looks at the whole child, the whole story. If there is support that is needed and that student has the individual determination and wants to take the class, there's not a hard line anywhere that says that they won't be able to, be accepted into part of the AVID program.
Thank you. This is a question for our Career and Tech coordinator. So the old VOTEC Center, as many of us or maybe our parents knew it, really seems gone in these current days. Can you talk a little bit about the types of programs offered and who's now choosing to attend our VOTEC centers that are now called our Career and Technology Education Centers?
Absolutely. So they have been reborn, and it's really just a sign of the times, right? We're keeping up with technology and with our economic needs and the types of jobs and careers that are available. As probably everyone sitting in this room can imagine, 50 years ago when you needed an auto mechanic, their tools looked very different than they do today. Today, we still have auto technician as one of our programs. However, there are a lot of computer and a lot of analytics involved, and it's just a very different type of preparation. So all students are certainly welcome to apply and to attend our applied tech centers. And kind of piggybacking on that last question, we certainly have specific support personnel to make sure that we meet the needs of all students. But really, students who apply now are students who are really driven to get ahead of the game in technical skills, to learn some serious industry standards, to earn industry certifications, to earn college credit before they're even out of high school. And the majority of our students that attend CAT North and CAT South graduate from our school system as what we would call dual completers. So they complete a CTE program, as well as meet all the university system requirements. So they really do kind of have the best of both worlds. Their options are wide open as to what they would want to do, and we are preparing them for whatever they want to do.
So college and career ready.
College and career. We say career and college ready, but yes.
Yes. Great. This question is about signatures. Could you expand on how the partnerships work with signatures? Is it just business, community, or a combination of both? And maybe even talking a little bit about the community college as well. How does that work?
Beautiful question. Thank you very much. The original vision of Signature was that we would have partners from government, from industry, from business, from the medical field, from media. Each school would be supported through an array of partners so that no matter what the theme was, students would have the opportunity to interact with partners in a wide range of career areas and would see the way the theme could be affected through a wide array of career areas. I cannot guarantee that every one of our 12 high schools has all sectors represented in their ICST, their Integrated Community Stakeholders team, but we work very hard to bring in as wide an array as possible whenever we can. As far as the college part goes, thank you, whoever posted that question. I am very, very proud that right now we have a college credit program working with Anne Arundel Community College to bring college classes into our high schools so that there is not an issue of transportation. There is not an issue of getting students out of school to go to college. Students at North County High School right now can go from second period English to third period college transportation and logistics. We've got an 18-credit college program at North County High School to prepare students in the international trade, transportation, and logistics, trade, transportation, and tourism signature for jobs at the Port of Baltimore as transportation and logistics specialists. At the end of their program at North County, they will receive their high school diploma. They actually received their transportation and logistics certificate from the college 2 weeks before high school graduation, and that certificate can be taken down to all kinds of businesses at the Port of Baltimore where these children can get very nice jobs, or they can continue through a program at the community college or go to a four-year college as well. We're building a similar program at Meade High School right now in Homeland Security, and the intention and the cooperation of the college is that we will have college programs either for certificate or to build credits toward an AA degree at every one of our high schools within the next 5 years.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Crane, I know you do have a charter school that also engages the community college. I'm wondering if you'd like to speak to that.
Yeah, so Chesapeake Science Point, which we talked about earlier, serves students in grades 6 through 12. We actually have a pretty unique partnership there. Anne Arundel County Community College sends professors into the school to teach AACC courses, and students in grades 9 through 12 can graduate from Chesapeake Science Point with an AA degree. So there is a really, really, really exciting opportunity there for those students to walk out of high school with already almost 30 credits towards graduation from a four-year college. And so obviously from a parent's perspective, financially, that's pretty nice. From a student's perspective, that's going to just provide them an opportunity to get out and to start work that much sooner. So thank you.
This is a question about learning from the innovation happening in programs of choice and in the charters and contract schools. And what happens? Do we observe? Do we learn from the most, edgy innovation that we have potentially across the district? How do we actually take that learning, if any, and put it back into our schools, our comprehensive schools at large?
Can I jump in first? I don't know if
Yes.
we started with charter and contract schools. So the magnet programs were really developed or designed through an R&D model where we could really look at the greatest in innovation and educational research and apply it with our students, test it out, in essence, like a trial run to see how it not only supported academic learning, but also really supported our children in being a part of the learning process. We definitely want them to be learning experts when they leave us, where they can apply their knowledge in a variety of ways, as has been explained earlier this evening. So as we find, whether it be an instructional framework or strategy really working well, and children really being able to utilize that to master their learning and apply their learning in authentic ways, we then take that out and have that as part of a focused professional development for the system, as an example. Project-based learning, you heard about that earlier. It's a process of learning. It's not just creating a diorama or a product at the end of a learning unit. It's actually how we learn and engage in learning through a process of a variety of different strategies and techniques as a school or classroom community. So recognizing the facilitation nature and the student-directed way of a PBL or project-based learning approach to learning, we're now trying to bring that out as an example to the other schools because we see the benefit of engagement and excitement for children. So we've really been able to use the different tenets of the magnet schools, test them out, really explore how they can provide the depth of learning that Ms. Austin talked about earlier, and then support how we do business in Anne Arundel County Public Schools across our comprehensive schools.
Thank you.
Yeah, so very similar to what Mary just said. In our charter schools, we do some really unique and innovative things around culture and climate. In particular, our 3 Monarch schools subscribe to something that I alluded to earlier called TransEd, and that's the Children's Guild's methodology for how adults operate within a school building and how students operate within a school building from a brain-based research. And so we've done a lot to bring our traditional school teachers into the Children's Guild schools to really show them a model for them what these schools do around culture and climate and what these schools do around attitudes of adults and how that impacts students. We just had recently a professional development at Monarch Glen Burnie where we had about 25 teachers from our comprehensive schools, and we used that as sort of a model school, if you will, to walk them around the building and really show them how that school operates and what they do differently around culture and climate. So, yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
And if I may, the work that we do in Signature, particularly in relation to our business partners, and again, their bringing of the world reality into the classroom, has been shared out in a number of ways across our high schools. Signature program facilitators, our people within the schools, our staff within the schools, have done school-wide professional development for the rest of their faculty. At several of our high schools, principals have brought in 20, 25, 30 business partners, gathered the whole faculty together and said, let's work with these people so you can use them either as guest speakers in your classroom, or you can find ways to infuse what they do in the workplace with what you are teaching in the classroom, again, to add that why to the classroom learning. And finally, we have a signature presence every summer at Curriculum Academy, where new curriculum is written, where curriculum is revised, so that we are available to help content areas if they wish to infuse signature themes into the content they are writing.
So I'm hearing what we learn in each of your areas. We are taking district-wide as we learn how to do it and what the best practices really are. Great. This is a question about our wait lists and also what we do about them, right? So with such long wait lists for many of our programs, and this author speaks specifically about STEM programs, but how are we trying then to bring aspects of those programs where the wait lists exists to all schools? And I think it's a continuation of that last question, but maybe you could give an example or two.
Sure.
So we have wait lists in the magnet programs every single year, in particular more to the STEM programs. We have them in IB as well, and in certain primes of the PVA. So what we've really tried to do to ensure that we do not in any way have a negative impact on a student's passion is we've built co-curricular opportunities that can bring STEM-based fields or global explorations or arts and humanities into a child's life, but we do it through a co-curricular engagement opportunity.
Thank you. So this one's about gifted and talented, especially at the elementary level. So are there any schools or programs of choice at the elementary level that are gifted programs?
So the answer is not specifically just to gifted students. All of our children, we strongly believe philosophically, deserve an instructional match with the appropriate degree of rigor. So our gifted and talented program, or our students that are identified as gifted and talented, absolutely have their instructional needs met through specialized curriculum designed to give them deeper investigations and or standard exploration, but we do that within the comprehensive school. We do it through flexible grouping practices. We also look for advanced learning students working with our gifted and talented students, again trying to create a trajectory of advancement with regard to the curricular instruction. But we've also built into the curriculum extended learning opportunities for any child when they are ready to go a little bit deeper, to explore in more depth and complexity, an opportunity to engage with those lessons so that at all points they are feeling challenged and at the same time successful as we're building up their independent mastery.
Can you speak to what's happening at the elementary level in a little more detail, Ms. Talara, about the mathematics for the student who may be 1, 2, 3 grade levels above in their mathematics, showcasing of their understanding?
For our single subject program, which is part of our advanced learning, we look at not just specialized curriculum in terms of M squared or hands-on equation. We also have a program in 5th grade called ELPS Plus that allows the students to really explore as a precursor to the upcoming standards for the next year in a very intimate and collaborative way, so that it's not just exposure, it's also an opportunity to look at standards through a I don't want to say sheltered, but an insular way where they can be supported and feel that they can be successful within that engagement. So we would never not consider moving to the next grade or the facilitation of standards at a different level, but we do that in concert or in partnership with the CNI office. We also have an opportunity, if appropriate, to look at acceleration, and there's testing that would be assigned to that.
Okay. And Ms. Austin, I'm wondering if you can comment on what happens in our primary years programs of the International Baccalaureate with respect to meeting the needs of all children, including the gifted learner.
Absolutely. So the International Baccalaureate, or IB program, again, as Dr. McMahon suggests, exists at the elementary level as well, our IB PYP schools. You heard Mr. Crane as well speak about 2 of our contract schools being PYP schools. So at those schools, teachers work together to take the school system's curriculum and transform that into thematic units. And within those thematic units, there are opportunities for students to progress at their own level of interest, their own level of ability. So for our more advanced learners, and that could be very fluid because at times we're more advanced in some one thing than another, there are opportunities for them to explore further with the teacher on their own in groups of like-minded students so that they can satisfy their curiosity and meet their educational needs. By the same token, students who sometimes might struggle with something, we can also build in opportunities for them to be equally engaged and supported within the IB primary years program schools.
Thank you. So this question is about meeting the needs of the whole child. So what kind of structures are in place in the non-classroom instructional time that would actually address the needs of the whole child in kindergarten through 6th grade? So that would include some of what we're doing in the middle level, the beginning of the middle years.
Sure. So again, within magnet programs, as we've heard already, there's a variety of co-curricular offerings that are offered for students. We work very hard, as I noted during the bullet points for magnet programs, to really look at the whole child. Again, with magnet programs, with these application-based programs, we try very hard to provide opportunities for students to indicate interest in being part of these programs, not solely based on their academics. And again, casting that very wide net, looking at academics as one aspect of a child's profile, what interests them, what are they passionate about, what do they want to explore, and then within the program we try to offer at the schools, we try to offer a variety of wraparound services. So again, the co-curriculars for students to expand upon interests, talents, to explore new things. A variety of support services for students and teachers so that that the needs of the whole child can be met on a daily basis when something occurs, and on an ongoing basis to support them in their learning.
I would also add on that, yes, our programs are rigorous and they're designed to be that way, but it's also about building the individual as an individual. So we believe strongly in letting our children see the power of collaboration and understanding what empathy means in their role as they take action and share their learning with others. So the way it's designed and the philosophical nature of our programs, because we really do want to have a well-rounded child that can apply their knowledge but also be a good steward of the community, to be our outcome.
To perfectly piggyback off of that, with AVID, we like to call ourselves, we're the AVID family, and it really does, you see a family sort of cohort occur in all of our, middle and high schools. We provide extensive opportunities for relational capacity, which helps foster that family atmosphere within our students. And then try to provide a ton of sort of wraparound support. So starting in as early as 6th grade, what are your interests? What kinds of careers? What could we possibly be interested in? And bringing in speakers or taking them out into real world to let them have some of those college and or career experiences, just starting to explore those. And also we're really, really heavy into creating opportunities for our students to be involved in service. We know that that is huge to a whole child, well-rounded citizen. It's also especially important for college applications. So we try to, and within that, again, those service, going and providing service within your community really, again, it helps foster that family feel.
Can you take that, what Ms. Poganowski mentioned, Ms. Kremer, and expand on that with respect to the CAT centers for summer and after-school exploration?
Absolutely. So our Applied Tech Centers generally run programs for high school students, but we do want to give middle school students an opportunity to explore some possible career interests. We run summer camp for middle school students to come in, and then they have an opportunity after they experience a couple days of they can choose different career opportunities during that 1 week. They'll spend 1 day in each opportunity. But then they can expand that in the 9th grade and do an explorations program where they'll sign up for a whole semester where they get to spend 4 weeks in 4 different programs for the semester. So it really gives them that feel of exactly what that industry kind of looks like, feels like. What does the lab look like? What kind of tools do they use? And it's really difficult for our younger students, particularly in middle school, to try to make some of those decisions when there's no way they can possibly know what that industry really is about or what that career really is about. So it's great for them to get in the industrial kitchen if they think they want to be a chef, or in the lab if they think they want to be a nurse and actually touch some of the equipment that nurses use. So those experiences are fantastic for building that capacity to understand.
Great. So this last question, I'm going to do it in 2 parts. One of it is, we really don't want any of our families ever feeling like the programs of choice are any way narrow in scope. I think all of you have done a fine job talking about the doors are truly wide open. So this question is about, what are we looking for in an application then? Is there anything that the family should know? And that includes understanding the programs a little more. This goes on to say, what does it mean, academic middle, so that the families would understand that? What does it mean, interests and passion? Is it really just broadly defined? Could all of you say something that would help our families know that these are open programs, and what are we looking for?
And I'll start if you don't mind, because mine's probably the easiest. So charter and contract schools, we don't ask any identifying questions about students during the application process. So we can't ask for grades. We can't ask for them to try out. We don't judge our applicants based on a talent. It's simply information about your child, and that goes into a random lottery. So, but that's because we have a charter law that requires that we don't ask any of that information. So charter schools and contract schools is a pretty simple enrollment process or application process, in that there is no prerequisite for getting into our programs.
I can go one step better than that. You don't need to apply for signature programs. You simply register for the classes. We will take all children at all times, as many as we have classroom space for in any of our high schools. So please, bring your children to
Continue to build
Signature.
those sections, Rich.
I'm sorry?
We'll continue to build those sections.
Yes,
to support
exactly.
those children.
So for AVID students, the academic middle, I mean, it is a very broad term, right? So our teachers are going to pull test scores. They are going to look for students sort of in that middle score range, but really that's just their basis for a recruitment list. That does not mean if your student scores don't fall exactly in the academic middle that you shouldn't apply, or that really your students shouldn't apply. It's about your students' individual determination and what they want to do to make themselves a better student. So academic middle could mean one thing, but it could mean you're getting straight A's, but you're in sort of all your standard level classes. So that means that you could be pushed up to honors or even AP with a little level of support. Or you're struggling in those honors and AP classes and might need that level of support. Again, we are not clear-cut because we do look individually at every whole child. And again, if the need of support is there and your student feels that they need that, I please encourage you to apply and reach out and just personally talk to your school's site-based AVID coordinator and tell your story and why your child wants to be part of the program.
Thank you.
I'd like to jump in on that. So our Applied Tech Centers actually offer 30 different programs, ranging everything from computer networking, game simulation and design. So really what we want is for students to be able to explore career opportunities. If they sign up for a level 1, they don't have to have had that 9th grade option that I talked about earlier. That's a great opportunity for them to just get in and kind of taste different areas. But as a 10th grader, they could take any of the level 1 courses. What we're really looking for is a student who really wants to increase the value added of their education, a student who really wants to get a leg up in the industry or wants to get some certifications so that they can get a job right out of high school and maybe work their way through college, or a student who wants to earn college credit while they're in high school. But it gives them much broader set of opportunities and experiences, and we really want students who are interested in gaining that skill, gaining very specific skills. So sometimes we have students who say, I really want it in your culinary program because I love to eat. So that's not exactly, but we're looking for students who really want to gain the skills associated with that career.
Thank you. And finally, in the IB, in the PVA, in the biomed, and in the STEM
So in the magnet
programs.
programs, the application process looks again at many aspects of the child. We do ask families through the application process to submit grades and PARCC testing scores. We look at both, so we're making an allowance where some kids may shine in one, but not in the other on a given day. Additionally, we ask that students and significant adults in their lives that they have the opportunity to write a letter of reflection, if you will, a reflection piece about that student and about themselves, letting us know why they feel they're a good fit, why they would like to be a part of that magnet program. And that is a non-evaluative piece, but rather just a piece for students to spend a bit of time and families to spend some time thinking about the commitment that they're making to that 3-year middle school program or that 4-year high school program. Lastly, this year we're introducing something called a day in the life of, where we're asking all of our magnet students who've been offered seats in the programs to spend a few hours with us outside of the school day, hands-on interacting with things that are representative of those magnet programs to really help the students make the best decision possible for them about whether they want to select us. So it's kind of a two-way street with magnets.
Thank you.
Thank you all so very much. We've come to the end of our programming time, but I'd like to reiterate that we will have a few minutes after programming has ended, that if our audience has any questions for our team, please feel free to stick around and ask questions, or if you asked a question earlier but need clarification, please feel free to do so at that time. Again, thank you to Dr. McMahon for being our moderator this evening. And I invite all of you all to join us next Tuesday, August the 7th, when we will present an overview of curriculum and instruction. And again, this was a very, very informative hour, and I, from the bottom of my heart, sincerely thank everyone that has been part of our panel this evening for their hard work and for answering the questions and providing so much wonderful information. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Thank you.